How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all keeping well. Today we have round 3 of the RTA Formula Vee Scholarship Championship from Silverstone, racing around the international loop today. But before we get into that one, last time out in Mondello Park, if you missed that video, make sure you check it out before we get into this one. But two good races there. Race 3 didn't go my way and we ended up retiring from that one. But you see what that means for the standings. We remain in 10th place, 75 points, so still very close between a lot of us. Travis McWhinney jumping up to the championship lead there, and Kevin Joyce had some very good results in Lime Rock up into second. Then Harvey Dara rounding out the top 3. And then moving over to just the scholarship standings, obviously Travis is in the lead there as well, Kevin in second place, and for myself, moved up 2 spots into 5th, just behind Jack Wynn and then Camto Chukwa rounding out the top 3. But looking ahead to Silverstone here today, we have some very typical British weather to deal with. Going to be very wet. Some sessions not as wet as others, but still going to be very tricky throughout this round. I'll just have to see if we can make the most of it and try and get some very good results. So that all starts trying to set a good lap in qualifying. So sounds like a bit of a broken record at this stage, but once again slipstream very important here for qualifying. Even though it is a little bit damp when it's lashing rain, still get a good benefit from the tow. And even with Silverstone National being a little bit more technical, you could say, than last time out in Lime Rock, slipstream still definitely needed to get a good qualifying lap. So found myself in a pretty good position here with just under 5 minutes left in the session. Have 3 cars just ahead, getting a nice tow off them, and have a bit of a gap to Kevin Joyce just ahead, which is going to work out very well because it means that with the tow I'm going to catch up to the back of Kevin, but hopefully it means that I won't have to lift off at any stage before the end of the lap to avoid running into the back of him and just not getting the best lap that you can. So heading into Stowe, then you can see the dry line. You really want to try and stay on that as much as you can to stay off the curb, because it will still be a little bit slippery at this stage. And then breaking into the final chicane, and you can see how that gap to Kevin has closed up now. So in pretty much the perfect position for the tow on this lap as we come around the final corner then and set a 1:21.1, and wasn't able to get a better lap throughout that session. A few little mistakes and not getting as good of a tow, and it saw us finish in 14th place, which, considering I'm less than half a second off Dylan McClemens in pole, just shows how close everybody is around here. But with rain to come in the 3 races in this round, could see the field spread out a little bit, so hopefully that can work in my favour as we head into race 1. And as you can see, the rain has started to come down once again. There doesn't appear to be any kind of dry line like there was at the end of qualifying, so conditions definitely a lot different than we've been used to for the last 15 minutes. So hopefully we can just try and settle into this race, get used to the conditions, find where the grip is, and most importantly keep it clean while moving up the grid. Through turn 1 there we got very close to Jack Wynn, who managed to hold on to that position, come under pressure then from a couple of cars behind, but we managed to stay ahead of those as somebody was sent spinning around there in turn 3. So we gained a position there, which is always nice. Coming out of Beckett's then onto the Hangar Straight, getting off track, and that corner is one of the tactical corners around here where you can go off the track. Getting off track means you get a better exit down this straight, but you don't get a slowdown, so have to take advantage of those off tracks throughout these races, using them when you need to try and get a good run, or a better run than usual, down the Hangar Straight. Jack there went side by side with, I'm not too sure who it was actually. He went a bit wide and Jack managed to get past, as did we, as there's a couple of cars off in the gravel heading into the Vale chicane as well. So gain another couple of places, and we come around to finish a very eventful opening lap. Across the line in P9 as Peter McCann went a bit wide there on the exit onto the Hamilton straight, and we get past him. Heading into turn 1, very tricky corner, but to be honest it was a lot harder in practice the night before this, where there was a stream run across the track and you could feel the car almost aquaplaning every time you went into that turn. Luckily we don't have this in this race, at least. Don't know what it'll be like later on this evening, as Connor, Amelia and Jack banging wheels there on the little run into Beckett's. You can see there Jack went a lot wider than I did, and I still got an off track, so going into there, if you're going to take the off track, you might as well make the most of it and go as wide as you can. Speaking of going wide, Kevin Joyce getting the line a bit wrong into Stowe. Myself, Connor and Jack managing to slip past him there. Jumping ahead then to the start of the next lap, heading through turn 1. We get a very nice run on Jack there. I don't know if he's going wide because that's his line or defending, but we take the racing line, braking late into turn 3, trying to go around the outside, but just not able to get it done there. Going a little bit off the track onto the wet part, onto the curb, and not able to get the traction down there. So Jack able to get back past once again. As out of Beckett's, we have a big slide there, and thankfully able to save that, and more importantly able to stay within the tow of the cars ahead, and well within range, because heading into Stowe, Jack going down the inside of Connor going a little bit wide, and we're able to sneak in behind Jack and up another place, up into 6th now. So it's going very well. Jack going defensive into the Vale chicane, tried to set up for a little switchback move there, but not able to on this occasion, but well within slipstream range, and very powerful even on this straight, which isn't the longest. We get the overspeed, pull to the out or to the inside for turn 1, taking it as easy as I really can, because don't want to slide out into Jack. He's able to carry more speed around the outside line, and he stays ahead for now. But just a couple of corners later, once again heading on to the hangar straight, we get very close to the back of Jack there. There's a collision ahead of us. I think it was Robbie Callahan and somebody else came together. Jack decided to head off to the left onto the grass to avoid that. I managed to stay on the track, and we gained 3 positions there, and now we are up into a podium position. That doesn't last long though, as at the start of the next lap, heading into turn 1, Connor goes up the inside, make a little bit of contact there. I think I might have turned a little bit early, and water there on the apex probably sent Connor a little bit wide, but no harm done. We've both managed to keep going in this one. Just a bit of rubbing his race, and Connor goes wide on the exit of turn 3, compromises his line through the next couple of corners, and through Beckett's onto the hangar straight. He has to take a tighter line, but gets a good exit, taking the off track wisely there to get more speed. But once again, we are well within slipstream range. Bit of a mistake there by me going to the left hand side, as Jack goes to the inside then, which is probably where you really want to go, but I think I was thinking just take the racing line. I'd be ahead of Connor by the time we get to the turn, and not really taking into consideration that Jack could go down the inside of both of us. So gained 1 and lost 1 there, trying to get Jack back, but into the chicane he defends to the inside, so can't go for a move just yet. We stay on board then and fast forward just a little bit, as through turn 1 you can see Jack just goes off onto the curb, which as we've seen can be a bit treacherous. To be honest, he does very well to catch that. I've seen myself, other people and myself in practice, once you touch the curbs there, just with how much speed you have, it's very easy to lose the back end and spin off into the grass. But I'm not able to take advantage of it, going wide myself on the exit of turn 3 onto the curb and the AstroTurf, and obviously no grip out there, and had to completely back out of it. Allowed Connor and Jack back past, as we're now battling once again down towards Stowe. Connor up ahead. I kind of have Jack a bit boxed in. He gives me a little bit of a tap on the wheels there, seeing if I give him a bit of room, but have to be pretty cutthroat in these races and hold your ground in situations like that to not lose any more track positions. We skip ahead then to the last lap of the race. It was pretty quiet for a couple of laps there, not a whole lot happening, but now it's all going to kick off as we have a real chance at a podium here in this race. In the slipstream of Connor, hoping to have the inside line, but Connor's too good of a driver for that. Covers the inside well, so I have to try and go around the outside, trying to carry as much speed as I can. Connor just managed to stay ahead, but now in the mirror Jack gets a good run on us. Heading into the chicane, I sort of defend the inside, but I don't defend it enough. Jack sends it down the inside. I send it in as late as I can to try and stay ahead. Then with the compromise line on the exit, we make contact with Jean Zautovella. I think it was a lot worse on my screen than it actually was, because he was able to keep going, and unfortunately we had a chance at a podium there and we end up finishing in 6th place. Still up 8 positions from where I started, which have to be happy with that, but considering how close I was to that podium, a little bit disappointed, and more so disappointed with how I defended pretty poorly there against Jack, and that lost me 2 positions really. I kind of lost the chance at the podium getting past Connor and should have really just focused on getting that 4th place, but it is what it is, and it's going to start in 6th place for race 2. So a good bit further up on the grid, this time in 6th place as the green lights come on, and you can see it kind of started to dry up the end of race 1, and it looks like it's after getting a little bit wetter again at the start of this 2nd race. But there's no rain, so throughout this one it will continue to get drier and drier, the track will get faster and faster. But to be honest, I don't think that'll have any effect on the racing, because we saw how close it was even when it was wet in that first race. So opening lap here now, we managed to hold position. We nearly got past Jean on the run into turn 1. We're heading into Beckett's now. We're going to get passed by Robbie Callahan, who goes down our inside. I didn't get the best run there heading into that one, but luckily on the exit there I get a better run than Robbie, and we managed to get back past. A little bit far back for the best slipstream and didn't really know where to go, and unfortunately again poor car position have let Lawrence de Soswa have the inside line, but luckily I was able to brake a little bit later and cut in across his nose and get the racing line heading through Stowe. And we managed to catch up to this group ahead. I think we were 3 wide there at one stage, maybe even 4 wide heading into the chicane. And through here on this occasion I decided to try and go into 2nd gear, but you can see there, don't get the best exit, and I saw in some replays a few other lads doing 2nd gear through there, but I just didn't find that work for me. I much preferred going in 3rd gear. Through the final corner though, we got a good run on Campbell, and heading into turn 1 we managed to get that move done up into 5th place on the opening lap here in race 2. Skip ahead further on the 2nd lap then, and once again I don't defend the inside and Lawrence goes down the inside. We manage once again to stay ahead as on the exit Connor goes wide onto the curb, onto the AstroTurf. Doesn't have much grip out there. He managed to get past and up into 4th place with the top 3 still well within our sights. But on the exit of the 2nd last corner, you can see I go out onto the curb, and no matter how hard I was turning the car, it just wasn't turning there. Just no grip for the tyres to grab onto, and that allows Lawrence and Sean McGoldrick to slide on past on the pit straight. And now we have Peter McCann in our mirrors. Take a bit of a wider line through turn 2 to have the outside for turn 3, just to kind of defend a bit, but we lock up the brakes, go deep once again, and Peter and Robbie Callahan slide on through. So not the best couple of corners there, and just took a couple of deep breaths after this one, tried to recompose myself, and literally said to myself, just keep the head down now, try and do a couple of clean laps to get back into a rhythm, and then we can push once again to get these positions back. Pretty much a lap later then, through turn 2 heading into turn 3, you can see that playing out. I could have probably went for a move there down the inside of Robbie, but wanted to just recompose myself for a little bit longer and maybe try and set up a move down the hanger straight here on Mr. Callahan. See, I take a much wider line there and get on the power a little bit earlier, I think. In the slipstream, we have a little bit of overspeed. I knew pulling to the outside here wasn't going to allow me to get past, because Robbie would still have to tow from Peter up ahead. But I decided to just pull to the right anyway, so I didn't have to lift off or anything. And then Robbie kind of defends the inside there. I wasn't going to go for a move, but he doesn't know that, and he didn't want me sending it down the inside. We skip ahead to lap 6 then, and Lawrence de Soswa just ahead. You might have noticed there, heading into Stowe, he went very slowly, or we closed the gap very quickly, and heading down to the chicane now, we're going to make a pretty easy move down the inside, because Lawrence did have a penalty at this stage, a slow down penalty, which he was serving. I didn't know that. I thought he was making a great move for position, but he did have a penalty, and still position up for us, and we'll take anything we can get. On the next lap then, you can see in the mirror Lawrence going for a little bit of a move, but not really. But up ahead, we're going to jump on board with Robbie Callahan here. You can see he goes off the track a little bit. As we've seen, there's no grip out there. Robbie goes for a spin, and we get another position up into P5 now. But unfortunately, because of that, Robbie was kind of connecting myself to Peter in that train, and we've lost the tow. So similar to round 1 in Donington, I'm going to try and work with Lawrence here to see if we can close that gap back up to the cars ahead. Lawrence has slipstream past me once, and on this lap, lap 9, very close to run into the back of Lawrence there. Not sure what really happened. I didn't think I broke too late or anything, but luckily no harm done there, and we still managed to stay close to Mr. de Soswa, and we're going to try and slipstream back past once again and see if we can close up to now Sean McGoldrick ahead of the two of us. But it seems so far that the gap is going the wrong way for us, and it's getting bigger rather than getting smaller at this stage. We did get past Lawrence there, and on the pitch straight I didn't get a great run out of the chicane, so Lawrence is going to use his extra speed to go back past once again, which I'm happy to do at this stage. But really, I think by this point there's just under 2 minutes left, so after this lap we will be going on to the final lap. I probably should have been a bit more aggressive in defending there to try and stay ahead. I don't think we're going to catch the cars in front at this point with so little time left, and the best we can really hope for is to get this 5th place on Lawrence. Heading down into Stowe, I still hadn't come to this realisation at the time, and decided to lift off and stay behind, which probably was a mistake, but at least now we're in the probably actually the better position going on to the final lap to make a pass for this position on the hanger straight into Stowe. So trying really hard to stay as close to Lawrence as I can, and a little bit further back than I would ideally like. So trying to get a good run through Beckett's, using as much of the track as I physically can without going too far, because you can get a slowdown there, but you have to go really far out. And luckily we don't. We have the slipstream on Lawrence. He's kind of in the middle of the track, and there is room on the right hand side, which I should have gone for, but I decided to take the dry line, the racing line around the outside, but just carry a bit too much speed in, run off the dry part of the track and go on to the wet part. Don't have enough grip there to make it stick around the outside of Lawrence, who holds on, and now we're too far back even to try and send it down the inside of the Vale chicane. So coming through the last 2 corners then, had a great battle there with Lawrence, just coming out on top, and I'm going to finish in P6 here in race 2. So we've finished where I started, which you always want to move up, but it's better than going backwards. Peter McCann taking the win in this one, if I remember right, a last lap overtake on Brandon McCotton, and then Jack Wynne taking, I think it's his first podium of the season, so great race there by Jack. And finishing in 6th in race 2 means we're going to start from P3 in the final race here in Silverstone. So I don't think we need Met Éireann for any information on this one. As you can see, a lot wetter than it has been throughout this round as the lights go green for the final time here at the Silverstone National Circuit. We get a pretty average start, I have to say. All the rounds so far I've said I need to work on my starts, and they don't seem to be getting much better, but at least we're still getting off the line nice and easily, and they're not too bad. I feel like they could probably be a little bit better. Through turn 3 we get very close to the back of Campto there, who went very narrow on the exit. We have to shift down into second gear there, which I think is the first time in even through any of the practice laps I've done where I've gone into second through there. But luckily we do get a good run on the exit of Beckett's on Campto Chukwa. We were getting a nice tow of Jean Zoutevella there, who then pulls to the inside, then back out, kind of switching between who he's given the slipstream to, so none of us are catching up on him too quickly. He takes the defensive line into Stowe, he goes wide, we have the inside line, and it looks like we're going to take the lead of this race, but Jean gets a good run on that outside line and managed to get the inside then for the Vale chicane. Campto down my inside as well, so I have to take a compromise line and go down into second gear again through this chicane, which it didn't work in the last race. It works even less so in these wetter conditions, but once again we managed to get a good run on Campto. It was him on our outside when we done that in the last race as well. This time into turn 1 we're not as far ahead as I was in the last race, and Campto's able to carry the speed around the outside. Conor Mealy getting a great run there as well. He's on our inside, but we carry more speed around the outside of turn 2, turns to the inside of turn 3, and we managed to hold on to third place. There is a good queue of cars behind us now, and Jean is starting to build a little bit of a gap, and it's not something I'm able to say very often, but I feel like I have better pace than Campto at the moment, so I really want to try and get past to see if I can build a gap, see if he can hold up some of the cars ahead, and 2, to see if I can try and catch up on Jean and maybe fight for the win in this one. But out of Beckett's, we're now 3 wide with Campto and Brandon McCotton in the middle. I decide I take the safe option there and back out, and does mean we lose that place to Brandon, who gets both myself and Campto up into second place for him, so great move by him there. Now heading into the chicane, Conor Mealy down our inside, but brake nice and late, still managed to make the apex and hold on to that place. So we do lose one position there, but it is to Brandon McCotton, who is very fast in these cars, and maybe if all things work out now, he can try and drag this whole train up to Jean, and will be in with a chance of fighting for the win. Through the first turn on lap 3 we have a big moment there. Must have hit some sort of a puddle run across the track, have a big armful of turning left through a right hander, which is never ideal. Luckily we managed to catch it. Second big moment like that in this round. I think it was race 1 we had the other one, can't really remember at this stage, but luckily we don't lose too much time and we are still well within range of Campto. Brandon already after pulling about a second ahead and is on the back of Jean, so if I could try and get Campto and use what I think I have a little bit more pace, and Jean and Brandon can fight among themselves, slow each other up, maybe we could make it a 3-way fight up at the front, but I have to try and get past Campto first. Heading into Stowe, I hit some sort of a puddle once again, felt the car start to aquaplane. You might have heard the revs spike a little bit. I was going to try and go around the outside of Mr. Chukwa, but I had to back out of it because I wasn't 100% sure if I was in full control of my car. and that did allow Connor to get a good run through Stowe. Had a bit of a look down the outside heading into the chicane, but he wasn't able to get past there. I then get caught up behind Campbell out of through the final corner. Connor was kind of alongside on the outside, but I think he ran onto the curb and had to back out of it. We've seen how treacherous they are in these conditions, so pretty smart move by Connor there. You don't want to keep foot to the floor and lose the car through there. So we head into turn 3 now. Down the inside, we brake late, trying to go around the outside of Campbell. Not able to on this occasion, as I have a bit of a connection issue there, which is always scary, never mind in the wet when you're this close to a lot of cars. But luckily that was the only time that happened, and I think my connection was fairly good for the rest of this race. As through Beckett's, I think this is where I was a lot quicker than Campbell in these conditions, just through that corner in particular, and we were able to get a good run down the hanger straight. Jack Wynne gets a good run as well. You can see up in the top left he had a look at making it 3 wide, and I had to kind of leave a bit of room there, so we're just about side by side through Stowe, but on the exit I get a good run, and this time I defend a bit more to the inside. Don't want a repeat of the last lap of race 1 and letting Jack get past that easily a second time, and we hold on to P4. Even with a little bit of fighting there with Jack, still well within range of Campbell. And as we finish lap 4, it's been all action for the first 7, nearly 8 minutes now of this final race. In the mirror, Jack has a little bit of a look, trying to just put me off heading into turn 1, but doesn't really do anything there. On the exit, Campbell runs on to the curb a little bit, so doesn't have a great run, runs a bit wide through turn 2, and once again we're on the outside for turn 3. This time braking even later, get really nice turning, even carrying more speed, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact with Campbell, and we get the move done up into 3rd place. I have to say, very proud of that overtake. Around the outside there in these conditions isn't easy, and now we have to see if I do have any more pace. I was hoping that once I got past Campbell he could maybe hold up a couple of the cars behind me, but that wasn't the case unfortunately, and on lap 6 now went a little bit wide through Stowe, and that has allowed Travis Mawhinney, who hasn't had a great round here but was recovering well in race 3, to get around the outside of the Vale chicane. And I know Travis is very quick, so I wasn't overly worried about that. And we head on to lap 7 now. Travis defending to the inside very early there, and you can see there's still a good train of cars behind. He has the inside line for Stowe. I have to little look around the outside, but wasn't able to do it on this occasion. And Travis holds on to that last podium place. We still have Jack Wynne behind us. He goes down the inside as I was having a little look around the outside of Travis. Unlike in race 1 when Jack went down the inside, this time I don't leave as much room, keep it as tight to the apex as I can, while also leaving enough room for Jack, just barely leaving the cars with theirs. On the exit of the final corner, you can see once again how treacherous those curbs are. I decided to keep my foot planted because I didn't want to lose too much time really, and luckily was able to hang on to the car and hang on to 4th place around the outside of Jack in turn 1. And this fighting, I was a little bit worried that would make us lose touch with Travis, as we've already lost touch to Brandon and Jean. Those two are going very well in these conditions, and all our fighting back here probably isn't the best for trying to catch up to them. Someone else that's not the best for trying to catch up to anyone is having an exit like that out of Beckett's, just losing all traction in the rear there, and wheel all over the place trying to get the car going straight down this hanger straight. Don't lose too much time. I'm not sure why I didn't take the slipstream there from Travis, but luckily I think Jack either wasn't close enough or he backed out and going for a move on me as well. All just trying to settle down for a couple of corners I think, and don't think it's going to last for too much more than that. Heading into the chicane, getting very close to the back of Travis there. I didn't think I took it any quicker than usual. I think Travis might have taken a bit of a different line than he normally would, and it made it look like he was going slower, but got a good exit out of it, and means I'm not close enough to have a go at overtaking on this occasion. We skip ahead then all the way to lap 11. I know it's only 2 or 3 laps ahead, but considering how much action has been happening in these races, not having a whole lot to show for a couple of laps is a bit of a rarity. But luckily we've still managed to stay well within touch to Travis. Unfortunately, Jack, Harvey and Sean have stayed well within range of the two of us. So as much as we want to try and overtake Travis, we still have to be a little bit cognizant of the cars behind and making sure that me trying to set up an overtake doesn't allow them to get past. Heading into Stowe, just like earlier in the race when I tried to go around the outside of Campto, get a little bit of aquaplaning and have to back out of it because once again wasn't 100% confident that I was in full control of the car, and missed out on an opportunity there to get past Mr. Mawhinney for the podium position. Out of this final few corners, Travis was very strong. There's a couple of times throughout these races where out of there you're close enough to have a go into turn 1, but Travis was getting just enough of a gap where heading into the first turn, not close enough, but it does mean that you're probably close enough to go for a move into turn 3. We're not going to have to try too hard as Travis lets me past with just a couple of laps to go, and I did confirm after this race with him that he did let me go there. He didn't just make a mistake and I managed to get past. He did let me go, already playing a few slipstream games for the last couple of laps of this race. As we head on to what is the second to last lap of this one, you can see down in the bottom right, myself and Travis have pulled a bit of a gap to Harvey Dara and Jack Wynne behind, so it is a 1v1 for the final place on the podium here in round 3 of this scholarship championship. Travis also in the scholarship hunt, so really important to try and come out on top in this one, but that exit out of Beckett isn't going to help. And Travis well within slipstream range, and I make the mistake here of not defending this one. In my head, for some reason, I thought it would be better to be behind heading into the final lap so I can make the slipstream pass down into Stowe. Not really considering that I've been behind for pretty much most of this race and haven't been able to make a move, so probably would have been in my best interest to try and stay ahead and defend rather than try and attack on the final lap, which we are about to start. Heading into the chicane for the second to last time. Just trying to stay nice and close, get a good exit and maybe make a move into turn 3 at this point on the final lap. If you get a chance to go for an overtake, you can't really back out of it and hope you get another one later on in the lap. Through the final turn, got pretty close there, but had to back out of it so I wouldn't run off the track, which kind of hindered my run through turn 1. Travis carries a bit more speed than I do, and through turn 2 he takes a good line and don't have any opportunity to go down the inside into turn 3. I just felt like I was too far back to send it, and if I did go for it, I just don't think I would have been able to keep it or made it stick for the rest of this race. So trying to get a good exit out of Beckett's. We don't get a good entry really in these conditions. The way the light was shining on the water on the track, I couldn't really see my turning point as well as I would have liked, but we do have a good toe on Travis. He defends right to the white line as you would expect. Into Stowe then, I try and keep him a bit tight. We make a bit of wheel to wheel contact as he tries to open up the line. With the wider line I get a little bit of a switchback, trying to carry more speed as we run down into the chicane for the last time, trying to spot my braking zone. Travis with the inside line, I knew I wasn't going to be able to go around the outside, so trying to set up a bit of a switchback, see if we can get a good run out of the second last corner, but we're not able to. But to my surprise, we come through the final corner and cross the line, and we finish in P3 and on the podium.
Podium finish. Nice one.
And as you can see, very happy with that. We're going to have a look at the Gantry TV live stream broadcast to see how I managed to get that
Can
podium.
Jan Zoutavella hang it round the outside for a move of dreams? No, he can't quite. There's one more attempt in towards the braking zone, but I fear he's too far back. Goes for the outside. It's going to be tough as Brandon McGohan is looking to outclass him, and he's gone airborne. The astronomy student takes flight, and Brandon McGohan's going to win this race.
So, as you saw there, Brandon and Jean coming together in the final stages of that race, and I didn't even notice it until I crossed the line and it said that I was in third place. So, not going to complain on my end. Obviously, you'd prefer to get a podium on merit, but we'll take what we can get. Brandon did, of course, then take the win in this one, and Travis did get second place, but the two of them getting penalties in this one. Don't know if that means I can claim a moral victory or not. I'm not going to. I want to get my first RTA win on merit, which I know it's going to be hard, but if I keep improving the way I am, I think I might be able to at some stage if all things go my way. What these results then mean for the standings is that Campto Chukwueze takes the championship lead, Travis Mawhinney moving down to second place, and Brandon McCaughan moving up into third, and for myself moving up just a one spot into ninth despite the good races here in this round. But we do close the gap to the championship leader, now just 30 points and just 50 points or less than 50 points separating the top 11. I can't remember any RTA championship that I've been involved in being so close after, I know it's only 3 rounds, but that's still 9 races to have the top 11 separated by 48 points. So hopefully it stays as close for the rest of the season. And then as we look at the scholarship only standings, obviously Campto leading the way in that one ahead of Travis. Jack Wynne moving up into third, overtaking Kevin Joyce, who moves down to fourth, and then myself in fifth, just ahead of Jan Zoutavella. So that is it for this round of RTA. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the season. Until the next one in Brands Hatch, thanks for watching. See you then.